Waiters of Reddit, what's the most ridiculous order someone's placed and how did you deal with it? Story 1. The strangest request. When I worked for Starbucks, I helped open the first drive-thru store in the area, so it was a learning process for some customers. A lady orders in the drive-thru lane an iced venti vanilla latte with 22 sweet and lows. Me. 22 sweet and lows? Like 2-2? Customer. Yes, 22 sweet and lows. Me. Okay, please pull up. Now at the drive-thru, we put the extra milk and sugar in the drinks for some customers, while in a cafe, they would add it on their own. So the person working at the bar looks at me like, for real? This lady wants 22 packs of Sweet and Lows in her latte? That's what she said, so that's what we made her. The lady pulls up and pays for her drink. I hand it over and tell her to have a nice day. She stops and says, "Oh, can I get those Sweet and Lows now?" I just looked at her and said that they were already in her drink. Boy, was she pissed. She wanted us to hand her 22 packs of Sweet and Lows in the drive-thru so that she could take them home. Story 2. Oh, how I miss my old regular. We are not a fine dining establishment, it's a fancy family-style Italian restaurant. This lovely gray-haired gentleman would call ahead so that we could put a salad bowl on the freezer for him. After that, I would go to his spot at the bar, or the closest one to it, and set a large dinner napkin down that he placed his salad/meal on. I would then place an empty wine glass with a napkin over it, per his request, just in case the dinner napkin didn't specify the seat was taken. Once he got there, I would go to the back and make his specific salad. Very little lettuce, extra mushroom, extra tomato, extra onion, no shredded cabbage, and no cucumber. That would be after I get him 2 ice-cold beer glasses for his 70-30 sweet, unsweet tea mixture with an extra glass of ice. He would then attempt to engage in a 5 to 10 minute conversation about our specials for the evening and how he could alter them. The guy came in between 3 to 6 nights a week and always tipped fairly. He was the kind of nice old guy that would get you and your wife birthday cards because that stuff was important to him. He then moved 45 minutes away and we never see him anymore. Missed the hell out of that old man though. Story 3. I had a 4-pack once that one of the gentlemen was ordering and asked for extra onion, and he made extreme emphasis on extra onion. So I go to put the order in and I have to talk with the chef to make sure he understands extra onion. So when the order comes out, I get a side plate with a cut whole onion. I giggle and take the order to the table. I put the orders of food in front of all the other guests and I leave the onion man for last. I set his plate of food and extra onion down. He looks up at me and starts laughing. The whole table is now laughing. I'm like, what the... Apparently, no matter where they go, no matter what, he always has to ask for more onion, and this time my snarky chef nailed it. I did that with ketchup once. I get that having to squeeze a bottle on the table isn't great for ambience, but when you serve half a plate of fries with one of those tiny little stainless ramekins filled up halfway with ketchup, it's a pet peeve of mine. So one time I asked for more than a thimble full of ketchup, trying to be funny and also trying to get a reasonable amount of ketchup. Then I got a plate full of those little f***ing ramekins, and we all laughed our asses off. I didn't use all the ketchup and was shamed. Friends and I used to go to Wendy's in college, and the drive-thru never gave us enough ketchup. So when we order, we ask for a lot of ketchup, like just give us a full bag of ketchup. We pull up to the window and the guy is stuffing ketchup packets into a bag. Good listener, it looked like 50 packets. The manager sees this, comes over and asks him, "Manager, what are you doing?" Window guy, giving them a bag of ketchup. Manager, incredulous, "Why?" Window guy, "'Cause they asked for it." The manager was more incredulous. "I don't care what they asked for." He shoved 10 packets into our food bag and mumbled to have a nice day and walked away shaking his head. Story 4. 10 years in the service industry checking in. At the Italian restaurant I worked at as a server, bartender, and manager for 5 years, we had a lot of regular customers come in and had some strange requests. Most were nothing too special, but one guy would come in 4 to 5 days a week. He would never order anything on the menu unless it was a busy night and we wouldn't have time to get crazy. On the slower nights, though, he would order things with sauces we didn't normally make, or special dessert concoctions, even though we prepared desserts daily and we did not make them to order. The craziest thing he ever ordered, though, was a donut explosion. To be clear, we did not know how to make donuts. However, there was a Dunkin' Donuts next to our location, and he sent one of his favorite servers next door to pick up a dozen random donuts. When he came back, the customer told me which ones he wanted on his dessert. I proceeded to go to the back of the kitchen and whip up his dessert to his specifications. It consisted of 2 donuts topped with vanilla ice cream, layered between the brownie cake that was our house specialty, and topped with chambered and a port wine fig sauce that we only put on pork chops. This was one of the most disgusting things I have ever seen in a restaurant, but he let me try a bite and it was f***ing amazing. Needless to say, he ordered it a few more times before I left that restaurant. Story 5. Barista here? We had a Narcotics Anonymous convention in town once. I had someone order a 16-ounce cup with as much espresso as would fit. It was something like 18 shots. Cost about $25 and he downed it all at the counter and went, woo! Another NA guy wanted a 16-ounce cup with half vanilla syrup and half espresso. A lady regularly asked for a cup of regular coffee with a large spoonful of butter stirred in. We do breakfast sandwiches on bagels and croissants, and a businessman with a group of his colleagues had ham and eggs and cheese, but he wanted it on a chocolate croissant. I think my favorite incident though was when a lady wanted a latte with a half non-fat and half soy, a triple shot with 1 regular shot, 1 decaf shot and 1 half calf shot, heated to a specific temperature, double cupped, 1 Splenda and 1 equal stirred into the shots. The works basically. The guy behind her thought I was as ridiculous as I did, and he loudly asked for a mocha bowl drink, with 1/3 of goat's milk, 1/3 cashew milk, and 1/3 giraffe milk, cooled with a chip of ice from a Norwegian glacier and topped off with nutmeg and a gold flake. He then said, "Wait, is your giraffe milk fair trade? Okay then, never mind, I'll just have a cup of coffee." He still comes in. I love that guy. Story 6. A customer ordered a triple grandpa burger. This is a common mistake customers often make with us. A grandpa burger is a triple patty burger, so they often say triple grandpa burger when really they just mean the 1 3 patty burger. But after this one guy, I always clarify that that was what they wanted, because this guy actually wanted a 9 patty burger. I asked him twice to make sure that I wasn't hearing him wrong, but nope, that's exactly what he wanted. Not only that, but he wanted cheese on every single patty. So that's 9 5-ounces of beef patties and 9 slices of cheese, plus, condiments and the like. This wasn't even a big guy, looked fit as a fiddle, handsome, about 25 years old. And he was also alone, so it couldn't have been a dare. I guess he was just really freaking hungry. So I had the cook make it, and we stood behind the counter and watched as he ate every single bite. I wasn't even sure how I was supposed to react when he was done, but he seemed quite pleased, thanked us, and left. Never saw that guy again. If you're enjoying the video, be sure to like and subscribe. It means a lot to the channel and really helps us. Anyway, back to the video. Story 7. A family of 4 comes to an upscale pizza place every Sunday. I've served them every week for a year. 3 glasses of water, no ice. 1 unsweetened iced tea with ice. Picture of it on the side, no ice. Order of whole wheat donuts. No brushed butter or cheese. Oil on the side. Pizza 1, large. Whole wheat crust, no sauce, pickles, double mahi-mahi, portobello mushrooms, crimini mushrooms, red onions, yellow onions, roasted red peppers, bell peppers, zucchini, spinach, roasted tomatoes, Roma tomatoes, diced tomatoes, basil, rice mozzarella, no butter, brushed on the crust. Pizza 2, small whole wheat crust, no sauce, double pickles, scallops, both mushrooms, both peppers, both onions, all 3 tomatoes, spinach, basil, oregano, rice mozzarella, no butter, brushing on the crust, well done. Pizza 3, small cornmeal crust, crushed black beans as sauce, double mahi, double pickles, only cremini mushrooms, eggplant, roasted tomatoes and peppers, no cheese, and no brushing on the butter of the crust. All 4 of them with individual sides of oil, garlic powder, and oregano. That's separate, so 12 little sides for the table. They take advantage of the Christmas gift card specials of free $25 for every $100 gift card. They buy $400 in gift card and get a free $100. It got to a point where if the veteran pizza cooks and I, server, were working, this family could sit down and not say a word. We'd have their order already going. The only change would sometimes be beer-battered pickles. Story 8. I used to be a barista at a cafe. I had someone order a 10-shot latte. I decided that I'd make the same thing. I'd never felt so disgusting in my life. I love coffee, but too much. I was shaking all day and night. Of course I finished it. I'm not wasting coffee. Story 9. I worked at a restaurant and fish market type of establishment, where we sold raw products but would also prepare the food on the spot. One day I was helping an old Asian lady out and she told me she had never had a whole lobster and would love to try one. As she was shopping in the fish market portion, I assumed that she wanted it live. So we went over to the lobster tank and she picked out the happiest little lobster out there. I asked her if she wanted to pay $16.99 for it lives, or $22.99 for us to cook it and serve it to her. She decided to take it alive, so I took some time to weigh it out and wrap it up in a takeout box for her to take home. I put it down on the table and walk away. A minute or two later, I hear a commotion and I come out to see this little Asian lady with a knife trying to cut the claw off the lobster. Apparently, she thought that she was supposed to eat this thing live. I cooked it for her. Story 10. I worked for a while in a vegetarian/vegan-friendly buffet market. Now, the greatest majority of people were actually really nice, not particularly haughty about their diet or anything, but I had two customers that were, let's say, different. The first one came up to me with a plate already filled with various salads that she, being a buffet, had personally selected. She showed me the plate and asked, "Do your salads have any raw ingredients in them?" And before I could answer, "Because I'm pregnant. See, so I can't eat anything raw." While still showing me her plate of definitely raw various veggies and fruit salads. I was so dumbstruck that all I could say was, "Let me ask the kitchen to make sure." And I actually did, because is salad raw? One of these questions that makes you question even the most basic things, such as what a salad is or what hats are. I asked the chef if our salads had raw ingredients in them, and he looked at me and said, "Is she familiar with the concept of a salad?" We ended up switching her plate for another one because, yes, our salads had raw ingredients in them. However, all in all, she was really nice about it and didn't mind waiting a little bit more for us to fix her plate. The second one, however, was a bit ruder. She came up to me and told me that she would only eat raw vegan stuff. I thus directed her to the salad buffet because, hey, now I'm pretty sure that they were made of raw ingredients. And that's when she scowled at me and said, yeah, I'm getting pretty tired of salads, you know? You tremendous twat. You bestow upon others the task of finding you food that fits your incredibly narrow criteria, and then you bitch when it's a tad unoriginal. She later complained that we didn't have any raw cake. The cake was already vegan, mind you, but yeah, we had baked it. This is the only time I really thought you are an insult to natural selection. Story 11. Not ridiculous, but fun. I worked in a restaurant in Hawaii 25 years ago, and we would get groups of Japanese businessmen that didn't speak much English. After struggling through a few tables that had trouble with a rather large menu, even when they had a host trying to interpret for them, and after being stiffed several times by these groups not leaving a tip, not because they were rude, but just because it wasn't their custom, I asked my manager if I could try a different approach. The next 10 top I received, I would approach with a pre-planned meal. "Would you like the John Wayne special?" I would ask. They nodded approvingly at his name, wanting to have a good old John Wayne American experience. I told them it consisted of a large steak, baked potatoes, salad, dessert, and beers. I also mentioned that I would be adding a 15% tip on top of the bill in order to cover for the services that they would receive. The host always seemed appreciative of my approach, as it made their evening much easier. In addition, this made it simple for our kitchen, our bartender, and for me and the bussers. We always gave them a dinner to remember, and I never had any complaints. Story 12. I had a lady tell me that it was impossible to make the dish too spicy. When I told the cooks, they took it as a personal challenge. I don't remember what they put in, but I do know that someone ran to a grocery store for another ingredient. It was literally the spiciest thing I have ever smelled. Just being an arm's length away from it for 30 seconds when I delivered it had me coughing and tears streaming down my face. Guests at nearby tables complained about the smell. Just so much kept spicing at the table that people 15 feet away were uncomfortable. But she ate everything. She ate every single bite and then scraped up the remaining sauce and ate that too. Story 13. Former cook here, not proud of this one. So I work at this pizza place, very well known and respected in the city. Fantastic pizza. I was always the guy not bothered to go the extra mile for special requests. The guy orders a vegetarian pizza, tomatoes, pineapple, peppers, mushroom, onion, the works. Calls back about 20 minutes later and complained that the pizza was too soggy. I think I gave him 50% off at his next order or something like that. Calls back the next week and orders the same thing. This time, I made sure to soak up any extra liquid on the pizza, and then I toasted the crust a little more. Calls back about 20 minutes later and complains. No worries, discount for the next order. Calls back the next week and orders. This time I pre-cooked the vegetables, dried them on a paper towel, and blasted them with some more heat before putting them on the pizza. Called back 20 minutes later and complains, too soggy. Same deal, discounted his pizza. Calls back the next week and orders. I am done this time. When his pizza comes out of the oven, I walk over to the tap and soak the pizza in water to the point where the bottom of the box is dripping. Never heard back from him. Story 14. I love this story. I used to work at Olive Garden, and at Olive Garden there's a dish called the 5-cheese marinara. You know, essentially a plate loaded up with cheesy magic with a little bit of pasta thrown in. One day, a stupid man with a stupid wife comes in, and the man says, I want the 5-cheese marinara, but I don't like cheese. I looked him dead in the eye and say, then don't order that, you're not gonna like it. Instead of being a sane, rational person, the man says, oh, can't you just have them take some of the cheese off? Again, I repeat, you will not like this, it's almost all cheese. But he insists. I just accept it, curse this stupid man, ring the dish in, and immediately run to the kitchen. I tell the kitchen and my manager that I know he's going to send it back. Of course, my manager is the nicest man in the entire world and refunds his entire meal, and brings him a new one once he, unsurprisingly, sent it back because it was too cheesy. He left me 4 cents as a tip. Stupid person. Story 15. 2 stories, one funny and one not. Good story. Worked at a yacht club, which was essentially a mediocre restaurant attached to the community we lived in with docks out back for boats. Not a snobby, I own a mansion and yacht club. Anyway, we all like to have some fun in the kitchen. Getting to the point where we had a new menu item in the salad section without a name, so my buddy who was super into Counter-Strike sourced pretty hard in the 2005-06 era, decided to call it the noob salad. Head chef asked what it meant, didn't care, and used it. A week or two later, a waitress we liked came back and told us that she heard an old couple discussing what they were going to get that evening, and her husband looked at this particular item. He says to his wife, I think I'm gonna get the noob salad. To which the wife responded, I think it's pronounced Nube. We lost our It was kind of off topic, but I was hoping at least one person would like it. Worst orders are always paired with the worst customers, such as the woman who faked an allergic reaction to hot sauce on wings one time because she touched her daughter's wing with a finger and tapped her tongue with said finger to try them. Her husband said, and I quote, "You allergies my wife." They tried to sue our shitty chain restaurant. It did not work. Another story from the same shitty restaurant was about a couple of lovey people who wanted to split a burger. Half well done, half medium rare. Nope, f*** you. That's my input. These are the reasons why I'm in college, to make sure I don't have to work in badly managed restaurants anymore. Story 16. Not a waiter, but when I was a kid, my little brother hated cheese but loved pizza. He was only 4 or 5 at the time and didn't fully grasp the concept of pizza yet, so when he ordered a pizza, my dad would always have to order a plain pizza. One time we were at a Pizza Hut and my dad ordered a plain pizza and the waiter responded, okay, so a large cheese pizza. My brother immediately started crying, so my dad started winking at the waiter and going, no, a large plain pizza. Evidently, there was a large breakdown in communication between my dad and the waiter, and we ended up getting a large circle of dough covered in sauce.